Hi everyone, Amy here with Amy's Wears, and I have a birthday card to share with you involving some paper embossing with a coordinating stencil. Now I have this vintage lace embossing folder as well as the coordinating stencil. These are from All to New, and I will link all the products that I used in the video description box below. But here's a photo of the finished card, and I'm so pleased with how this turned out. So stick around, you can see my process and my mistake along the way, and I'll show you how I recovered and was able to still turn it around into a good card. So I'm just spritzing this panel of A2 size 110-pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White, and I'm loading it right up in my embossing folder. And I will run this through off screen through my Spellbinders Platinum 6, and look at this amazing design. So I am obsessed with this one. There aren't many that have that cool, I don't know, background in addition to the floral focal point. So I fell in love with this one and had to get it right away. And then I realized they had coordinating stencils along with it, which I have not done this before. This is the first one I've gotten with the coordinating stencils. And as you'll see in a moment, I royally mess it up, but that's no fault of the product. That's me just, you know, in la la land, not paying attention and just having fun. But I'm just basically going to use this low tack mint tape to kind of mask off the other areas, because I'm only going to be ink blending in portions of this. Now, in true All to New fashion, they always give you that nice little insert with all the beautiful examples and probably instructions, which I didn't read. But basically I'm just working on that first layer, and all of the stencil layers are labeled as well. But I'm just kind of working through, and here you might wonder what I'm doing, and that's a good question, because yeah, not sure what I'm doing. I don't know if I thought this was like the stem or something, so I'm like, yay, we'll make it green. And I remove it and I'm like, what was I thinking? That's just, wow. That was just some sort of separation between the sections on that layer. So this is how I'm going to fix it. I'm just going to ink blend all over the place. So thankfully it was just a little thin line that I just randomly stenciled on my panel. But I'm coming in with the green residual ink from my blending brush and just kind of covering up my mistakes, and then decide to just keep trucking along and see if I can fix it. So I'm bringing in now my teal blending brush, and at this point I'm just using residual ink that's left over on my brushes, which more than likely would be Catherine Pooler, because that's the inks I use the most these days. But I just kind of put down splotches of color, and then I decided to revisit the insert again, and still not really paying attention, but I was able to at least figure it out for the most part. So I'm just kind of looking at the different pieces here, and look here. Oh, here's the stem. Look at that. Look how well it lines up. Wow. Anyway, so I'm gonna put my magnets down on my Wendy Vecchi station tool, and again mask off the other areas where I don't want to get ink where I don't want it. And then I come in pretty heavy-handed just to kind of cover the actual stem this time with some green ink. And then basically I'm just kind of going through. I'm not really probably going in the right order. I'm just grabbing whatever stencils and kind of lining them up on the details. So you can kind of just nestle them right into place. They're pretty easy to line up. And I'm just going to kind of color in the leaves here. I have it sped up. Obviously I don't ink blend quite that fast, but you get the idea. I'm just kind of laying down some green and some teal just to give it a variation in color. And wow, I can't believe how much that pops off the background. This is just so cool. I'm a little obsessed. So now I'm coming in with different petals. There's 3 different stencils. You can see that one has the hugs on it, which is cool. I didn't realize until I bought it that it had that sentiment. So you could kind of, you know, turn that into a full card without, you know, a sentiment or a die cut or anything like that by just using the stencil. So I haven't looked at it. I'm imagining you could probably just use the stencils on their own without even having the embossing folder. So that would be another cool way to stretch the supplies. Just use the layered stencils and create this scene without just having the embossing texture from the folder. But again, I'm just working through the different layers, laying down color. I'm sticking with, you know, purples and teals and blues and pinks. I'm literally just grabbing whatever blending brush might still have ink on it that will kind of work in the same color family. So you can see I'm just picking colors that work well together, and I think it worked. Nothing really clashed. So I'm elated here looking at this. I think this is so pretty, and I can't wait to make more cards. I feel like this would be an amazing sympathy card or a birthday card or thinking of you or really anything. It would be gorgeous just on its own without a sentiment, and you could turn it into like a, you know, a little card gift set. But I do have this new product. Well, I don't know if it's new to Altenew, but new to me. But it's a stamp and a die, and you guys know I love stuff like this. But I have this really pretty light purple. It's inexpensive, but it's a heavyweight, 110 pound. You can see I did have a lighter weight, but I switched it out to this one. And I'm just going to stamp it with kind of a monochromatic look. I picked the Serenade color, I think is what it's called. From Catherine Pooler, and you can see this is one big stamp. So it's one stamp and one coordinating die, and what's cool about the die is that it's not just little sentiment strips, which you guys know I love, and I collect all sorts of brands like this style just because it's such a time saver, and I love stockpiling this stuff and having it ready to go. But this one was so unique and cool because it cuts out all these different shapes of the sentiment, so they aren't just necessarily little uniform strips or, you know, fishtail banners or anything like that. It cuts out all these different shapes, which you'll see in a moment. So I'm just gently tapping my Catherine Pooler ink pad because they're very juicy and you don't want to go too crazy, but I do stamp it a couple times just to make sure it's nice and even, and I'm really pleased with this color on the light purple cardstock. So once I'm done stamping this, I will bust out the coordinating die and line it up right on this stamped bit. So here I'm struggling for a while to clean my stamp, but I don't want to put it away dirty. So I'm just going to cut open this die set, and you can see here all these awesome shapes. I'm so excited about this. I think this would be another one that would be fun to just die cut it out and then just have the strips plain, and then whatever, you know, stamps you have in your stash that will fit in that area. It would just be something, you know, really cool to have on hand and take that step out of the process and save some time. So I'm just using some of that same low-tack mint tape to hold down the die, run it through my die cutting machine, and bam, look at all these sentiments. So these are all birthday related. I do hope Altenew comes out with more. Hint, hint, if you're watching Altenew. I wish. Anyway, but if they come out with other ones of this that will work with that same die, like I know Simon Says Stamp has one that has, you know, a few different stamps that work with the same die, but I think this would be really cool to have, you know, maybe one with a sympathy theme or one with just kind of a general mix of, you know, thank you or thinking of you or whatever. So I just love this variety, and I love the time saving components. So here you can see now I have all these for future use. I'm going to put them right in my sentiment book. So I have them for future use. You can see this is my process. Oh, there's some of the Simon ones right there in the back. But I'll have these, you know, on hand for the next card, and I think I'm actually going to create another video, watch another video soon where I'm just going to go to town with this stamp and die set. Maybe I'll emboss some white on black, do all different colors just to kind of fill up that book. But here's the finished card. I'm so stoked. I put the one strip down on the front with a little piece of foam strip that I get from Amazon and put some blingage on the front, and another one on the inside of the card, and that finishes it. Super easy. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I appreciate you spending time with me today. I'll check you next time. Bye.